My Lords, I thank the Noble Lord Sharkey. It's very tempting to use the opportunity he provided to reflect on the immediate impact of the reckless unleashing in September of failed 1980s policies built on a fundamental misunderstanding about the nature of markets, which are not some abstract, immutable, timeless force, but a human creation shaped by human-made rules, and as ours are now constructed, subject to wild irrationality and mindless seeking of short-term profit without any concern for long-term costs, structured so that a few benefit and the rest of us pay. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to focus on the word stability, which the Noble Lord asked us to contemplate with reference to the obvious recent impacts of instability on pensions, mortgages and the rental market. To put it another way, on the provisions of the essential needs of life, the needs for survival. Now, stability demands resilience, resistance to shocks, and it's not just our financial markets that need that, but our entire society in this age of shocks. Pandemics, geopolitical earthquakes, the climate emergency and nature crisis, demographic shifts such as our ageing population. Now, in the past we tried to deal with such issues with stress tests. Now, I'm going to quote the Deputy Bank of England Governor John Cunliffe in a recent letter to the UK Treasury Set Committee, quote, "The scale and speed of repricing leading up to 28th of September far exceeded historical moves and therefore exceeded price moves that are likely to have been part of risk management practices or regulatory stress tests." Close quotes. A stress test can only ever be as effective as the stress that it can imagine. And we are now in the age of shocks like we have never seen before. Now, the Noble Bishop of St Albans said, shouldn't we have better stress tests? But of course, this practically is not enough. No one truly understands the current system. And as the Noble Lord Seeker so powerfully outlined, we have an innately risky, unstable system that's full, absolutely stock full of fraud and corruption, as well as lack of transparency. Now, it might be said, but maybe this is the price we have to pay to live in a modern society. Well, I think it's worth saying, looking back to, as the Noble Lord Starkey, the very excellent House of Lords library briefing here, which I think rather pointedly started with quoting the Bank of England's definition of financial stability, quote, "It is the consistent supply of the vital services that the real economy needs," close quote. That's the human needs that the Noble Lord's questions refer to, the need for a roof over your head, the need for an income when you're old so that you can feed yourself. Now, I think we look again to the Bank of England website. What are financial markets for? The Bank of England says, financial markets exist to bring people together so money flows where it is most needed. So let's think about where money's been flowing. And if we go back to 2007, 2008, where did money flow? Massively into the banks to rescue them. And at that moment, that had to happen, or the cash machines would have stopped working, and then no one would have been able to have any money to buy their food, etc. But what happened after that? The money stopped flowing to our essential public services. It stopped flowing to the basic benefits that keep people alive. So I'd invite Noble Lords to imagine an alien landing on Earth today, landing in the UK. Where is money needing to flow? Obviously, it needs to flow into households that are struggling to heat their homes and feed their children. It needs to flow into schools that are contemplating a 4-day week because they haven't got enough income. Hospitals with queues out the door. But where is it flowing? It's flowing to tax havens, to rich men's yachts. It's swilling around and round in the City of London. Some figures. According to the Bank of England, lending from banks to non-financial sector accounts for only 20% of their balance sheets. The rest is interbank claims, money swilling around and round in the financial sector. Now, that figure excludes the trade in derivatives, which are often several times larger than the bank balance sheets. So the fact is, bank balance sheets, their loans make up a tiny proportion of their total banking interests. And 2/3 of the non-financial goes into mortgages, pumping up back prices, and the rest goes into business assets, again pumping up prices. So the Treasury directed the Financial Conduct Authority in the last financial crisis to make financial markets work well. If they work well, they have to serve the real economy, which they patently, clearly are not now. They're risking the secure future of all of us.